You both were not there in the demo which I did some time back. So let me just brief about what exactly is Tableau. You might be knowing it, but just to give it again rephrasing of what is Tableau, how it is placed in market and all that. So Tableau by definition is a data visualization product. So what it meant is it will help you visualize your data in a better way. Tableau's mission statement is very simple. They want people to understand their data. So I just give you a dump of Excel sheet, or there are a bunch of tables out there which have a lot of data. It doesn't make sense in its own. But if I just put you in a picture like this, the picture I'm showing here, right? The better term is data visualization. So if I visualize this better in a picture, right? So this clearly shows me by region how is my sales going on, right? And I have again distributed the sales back by departments. Okay. So if I just give this in a cross tab, it will not be that appealing and it is not that intuitive. Okay. But if I represent data in pictures, then it's very easy for human eye to understand. Right? So humans are capable of figuring out trends or anomalies. That's how our brain works in a better way if you visualize in pictures instead of just looking at the plain data. It's a simple plain mission statement, and it looks very simple, but they have really gone to that level wherein they are helping people to understand their data. Okay, so the traditional world of reporting and analytics was very boring. The tools were very cumbersome. So the whole purpose of analytics, predictive analytics, or business intelligence or reporting is you get business insight in your data. Right? You see to your data and figure out how your business is trending, whether you're making profit, loss, if something goes wrong, why it goes wrong, how I can rectify that, how I can go ahead and do something to, or some precautionary measures, or how my competitors are doing or whatnot. So basically I'm trying to analyze my data in every possible way. We call it slice and dice, we call it analytics, we call it data mining or whatnot. So there are a lot of tools out there in market which helps you dig into your data and figure out what's going on. Okay. So we started long back with the set of traditional reporting tools. We call them traditional because they're like old and they're really traditional. So the classic examples are Oracle Business Intelligence or OBI or Cognos or MicroStrategy. So they are traditional reporting tool in a sense that they're traditional and they help you just report data on. Okay, and the reporting or the data analytics was mainly used by the layer of people who are at the management side, right? And they are not IT people mostly, right? So the consumer of these reports are people who doesn't know how to write SQL, or they don't want to get into complexity of how to develop a technical report. But they are the one who could better play around with data. It's not static, right? So this report I showed you, I want to do something else. I want to drill down into departments, okay? So here I just click on department, I go one level up. Now I show category also, so department and category, right? So these things were very difficult to do. I'm just giving a very simple example, okay? But the problem was the reporting analytics size was still very IT based. The whole purpose of reporting was, you might have heard of dimension modeling and all that. So the whole purpose of creating a whole new data warehouse for reporting and have a star schema dimension model and all that was that the business user should be able to understand your data in a better way. The reliance on IT should get reduced as we move ahead. But that was still far from reality. Okay, so in process of creating the reporting world, they reduced the complexity to a bit, but still the complexity was not reduced to that bit that individual business user can go ahead and start playing with his report or create a simple reports to analyze what's going on with his data. Okay, and that's where this new set of products called data visualization comes into picture. So data visualization products, now there are around 3 major competitors here. One is Tableau, the other one is Spotfire by TIBCO, and the third one is QuickLook. Okay, so QuickLook and Tableau and Spotfire, they are the 3 major, and Tableau is the leader one in all of the 3. So this set of products are promoting self-service BI in a sense. Okay, so they are trying to make business intelligence self-service. So what I meant by that is they want to reduce reliance on IT to a bit. Okay, so they want that simple reporting like this. They shouldn't be relying on IT. The business user should be able to do it on their own, or you get a report to them. So you work on a week as an IT person and you give back a report to a business user. So business user should be able to change it. Okay, he should be able to play with it. It's not like that should be that for a small change he should go back to you. So, and in that way, because I am working with reporting tools, I work with the right reporting tools, and you can really appreciate the difference. Uh, it has reduced the complexity of unnecessary things, so you don't waste time in just struggling on unnecessary things, and you just focus on what's important. Okay, that is basically getting business or meaning or insight into your data. So that's what Tableau is. Tableau, in a plain sense, will convert your data into visualization so that you can find trends, or you could understand your data or your business in a better way, so that you get an insight and you do whatever you want. Okay, with that information. Is that a fair introduction? If anybody has any concerns or doubt, we could just discuss that. That's no problem. I know some people just joined in, so if you miss some part and you want me to repeat, that's fine.
This is Idris. I joined a little bit late, but I don't know what I missed.
So we were just I was giving a brief about what is Tableau and how it is different from the traditional reporting tools out there in the market.
Okay. No, I think I'm good then. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So I think everybody's good. So let's proceed. Okay. So the first thing in any reporting or analytics is that you want your data to be worked upon, right? So you should be able to connect to your data, and on that data you'll create whatever report you want. So Tableau has a lot of options to connect to all possible sources out there. So one good thing is that once you connect to a source, after that the things are simple, or they are just same as what's there. So you connect to Oracle or DB2 or a data mart hosted on cloud like Redshift. It's same. Okay, it's not different once your data is in. Okay. And connecting is also very simple. So if you see options, there are all possible options out there. You can connect to an Amazon EMR, which has a Hadoop HDFS, or you connect to a Cloudera Hadoop, or you connect to a PostgreSQL or MySQL or SQL Server, or unstructured data like Excel, Access, or File, or SAP HANA. You can connect to anything basically, but connecting to one or other data source is fairly simple. It's not that different. Okay, so if you don't have a native driver, you could always use ODBC. So ODBC option is there. Okay, so I will show you some as we go ahead. We'll connect to a couple of data sources and see how they are different. But you will see that that's the whole purpose of Tableau. They want to reduce that complexity. So connecting to a source is as same as connecting to Oracle, or as same as connecting to SAP HANA. There will not be much difference. So let's say I connect to an Oracle, because I already understand Oracle. You give a server, host name, port, username, and password. So once you are in, you get all the tables you are out there, and then you can drag and drop tables and figure out which tables you want to pull in and create reports on. So our today's session is not going to focus on this, but I just want to give you an idea of what all is covered as part of Tableau. Okay. So Tableau has connectivity to mostly all hit products out there in market, which are basically used in ETL BI world, okay, data analytics world. So most of them are covered here. So for today's session, we are going to use some of the already present data sources out there with Tableau. Okay, so they come up with Tableau as part of the practice. So these are some of the saved data sources. So these are my ones. Okay, but like the sample superstore and world indicator, these are like some of the data sources which comes inbuilt. So we are going to use that. Okay. Now, one of the things which usually comes to mind is how do I practice? So when I go back from session and all that. Okay. So Tableau provides you with a 14-day trial of the full version of Tableau desktop. Okay. So you can go on site and download it. So you can use it that for 14 days. But after that, what we need to do, right? So after that, you could use Tableau Public. So Tableau has around 3 to 4 lines of products. So one is Tableau Desktop, one is Tableau Server. There's a Tableau Public and Tableau Online. Okay, so let me just give a brief of what they are and how they are different from each other. So Tableau Desktop is what you are seeing. This is a desktop tool which you install, and this is what is required to create all your reports, okay, or data visualization. So that's what this is, Tableau Desktop. Okay. So this is basically licensed one. So you get a 14-day trial, but after that there is a per user license. So Tableau is such a market leader in this space that there is no bending for license prices. Okay. So basically their license cost is constant across whether you are IBM or you are a small company. So they have a per user license for desktop, and that you have to pay. So there is nothing like you cannot have a sales contract with them saying that I have 100,000 users and give me some discount. They don't usually give that. So it's very fairly static licensing policy which Tableau have. So then what is Tableau server? So Tableau server is very simple. So you create a report. So like this, I have this report out there which I showed you, right? So this report I want to share with other people in my company, right? So you create a report. It's no sense just having it with you. You would like to share that with other people so that they can comment on, or you could share with the actual business users, right? So Tableau servers make that easy. It makes Tableau an enterprise software. Right? That's the whole point of reporting and analytics tools. So you create report on your desktop, and then you just go and publish it on server. So once data is on report is on server, and anybody can view it with a browser, a web browser. Okay, so you could use a Chrome or IE to view all your Tableau reports. It's that simple. Okay, so Tableau server is again licensed separately. It's licensed based on your cores, how much CPU or how much big you want your Tableau server to be. So it's a core license. There is a per user license also with the server, but usually when you want to go enterprise, core is the better one. So it is basically based on how many CPUs you want to install Tableau server on. So Tableau server lets you share your reports with other people in your company. It's that simple. So we are going to cover both in our session. So because it's very important as an IT person, as I told you, the reporting part, all the simplicity will be still can be easily handled by non-IT person. Okay, simple reports can be created by anyone. You don't need to be a Zen master for that in Tableau. That's the whole mission statement. But Tableau server is something which is more technology oriented, and that as an IT person needs to understand thoroughly. Okay, so this session is going to make you a Tableau admin also. That's one of the second aim of this session. So one thing you have to understand is Tableau is not a Linux product. Okay, everything works on Windows in the Tableau server itself. So there are no such complexity as other products have, wherein if you want to become an admin, you need to understand a lot of things. You need to be first sysadmin, and then you can become a product admin, all that, right? So becoming a Tableau admin, it looks a very big term, but it's not. Okay, it's like basically you are a Tableau developer also, but how the market is trending and what I have seen, it's very important to understand Tableau server also. Basically, it's very important to understand how I get access to reports, or how I authorize people, or how I uh, publish my report, how I maintain them, if required, how I can schedule them, and all that. Okay, so all those things are very important when you are into Tableau world. So we're going to cover both Tableau desktop and Tableau server as part of our session. Okay, and there are two more lines of product. There is a Tableau public and Tableau online. Okay, so Tableau online is simply the cloud version of Tableau. So if you don't want all this headache, you don't want to have Tableau desktop. You still need Tableau desktop, but you don't want Tableau server on your premise. So you don't want to set up a Windows server and install Tableau server and maintain it. What you could do is you can just get the cloud version of Tableau, which is Tableau online, and you, as the cloud version goes, you just pay as you use, right? So there will be some pricing in cents per hour. So you don't want to go ahead in all headache of maintaining Tableau. You just take the Tableau online version on the cloud and you could just use that. Okay. The last one which we are going to discuss is Tableau Public, and this is the interesting one. Okay. So um, Tableau Public is something which has gained most of the publicity to Tableau. Okay. So the Tableau Public is completely free version of Tableau. Okay, so it sounds crazy, yeah, but it's completely free version. There are some limitation to it. One is you cannot connect to these all parts of sources. So you can see Tableau Public can connect only Excel, text file, and Access. Okay, so it is basically just very simple sources. So it cannot connect to all reporting sources. But after that, it's all what Tableau Desktop is. There is no difference. It has all the features. Okay. So it's a very good product out there if you want to learn Tableau, because as you will see in the coming sessions, once you connect to a source, after that it's straightforward. It's very simple. It's same as the two sources are not that different. They are entirely same. Okay. So the main point is understanding once you get in how to play with your data and all the possible visualization, how you slice and dice, and as we'll go in the session, we'll see. But connecting to data sources straight. So you learn how to connect to one, you learn connecting to second. There is no such big complexity in that. Okay. So Tableau Public is the excellent product for learning Tableau. Okay. So I have basically opened the Tableau 9, which is the latest one. The other thing with public is it's public. Okay. So everything is stored publicly on internet. So you cannot store files locally to your machine, but we are not going to play with any sensitive data, right? We are just practicing. So you could always share your visualization with anyone you from basically to the whole world. So that doesn't matter, right? So you could start with the trial version initially, but later on you can always move to Tableau Public for your all learning experience. Okay, and you will see that there are a lot of public visualization out there in market. So that why Tableau gives this free is because they want to see what people are analyzing on your data. Okay, some people are like I do. Basically, I analyze my expenses. So I track my expenses through my iPhone, and they all give me Excel file. So I just import Excel file and analyze my expense. So these are some of the basic things which a common man does, right? So it's not so different from what a CEO or a business user will do. They want to see how people are looking at their data, what kind of visualization they are creating. So that gives them an insight of how a human thinks about data and how they play with. That's why they have introduced this Tableau Public. Okay, so there are very good visualization. So Tableau Public can be used to blog, right? So when you're creating a blog, you want some visualization, you could just use Tableau Public and you can embed that into your web blog, all those kind of things. So that's what Tableau Public is used for. Okay. So we have a Tableau Desktop. So for now, you just need to understand that there is a desktop version and there is a server version. So desktop version is locally residing on your desktop, which will help you create reports, and the server is what will be helping you in publishing those reports to all other people out there in your company. Okay, that's it. So one good thing is Tableau architecture is this. There's nothing more complicated than this. Okay, so there is no interesting complexity which is usually with the product. So somebody might have an Informatica background or they might have some other reporting tools. It's very they are very complicated architecture out there. Tableau is very simple. It's a Windows-based product. Okay, and it has just two things. One is a desktop, one is server. Desktop will help you create reports. Server is where you publish it and share it with everyone out there in your company. Okay, so I will just pause for a minute for any questions. Okay, great. So if you don't have any questions, okay. So installing and Tableau is very simple. You don't need an kind of demo with it. It's like installing a VLC media player or something like that. It's that simple. Okay. You go to Tableau site. You just download. Okay. You download a public or professional free trial 14 days, and you just double click. You accept the license agreement, and that's it. It gets installed. Okay, there is nothing like no other complexity involved. So you could easily install it. If somebody get any issues, we could just discuss that in next session. But just go ahead and try installing it on your machine. Okay. So I'm just going to use a existing data source. Okay, like I said, we'll actually connect to other data sources in upcoming sessions. For now, we are just going to use a simple sample superstore data source. Okay. So once you connect to that, you get this window. Okay. So let me minimize this here. So this is the window you are going to work on for creating reports. One other good thing about Tableau is that you don't go out of this window. It's not like you have to go to some other product and do something for deployment. Nothing. Okay. This is the screen where you work on all kind of visualization. So this is a single screen wherein you can create all kind of complex visualizations out there in Tableau. Okay. It's very different. If you have not seen any other reporting tool, it looks very obvious, but that's not with the case. Okay, they make it very complex for people to create reports and all. So here it's a very simple thing. You just create this window wherein you create all your workbooks. Okay, so Tableau is inspired from Excel, because Excel is still the favorite reporting tool for people. Okay, there is nothing which can beat Excel now also. So it's inspired from Excel. Okay, so what you do is basically when I open this, you create a workbook. Okay, so workbook is like your Excel workbook, right? So if I open Excel, so if I open an Excel, this is what I did, right? I create a workbook. So same thing. When you open a new Tableau report, you started a. I'm just going to close public here. You just started a workbook, and then you can have multiple sheets, right? So the same concept is there in Tableau. So this is your workbook, and you can get multiple sheets. So this is one sheet I created. I can say new worksheet, sheet 2. I can rename to whatever I want. I will say A, right? And you can get sheet 3. So you can get multiple sheets. Okay. So these sheets are called views. So there are multiple views out there. Okay. And there's some other thing called dashboard. Okay, so like sheet, you can create a dashboard. So dashboard is basically you can combine multiple sheets into one view, which is called dashboard. So we'll see dashboard in a detail in upcoming sessions, but for now you understand that you can create multiple sheets in Tableau, right? Sheets are like views. You can create multiple views for your data. So once you have a data source, you get them here, all the data source you have imported. Okay, so this is the one which we did, right? Sample data source. So this can be an Oracle data source, or it can be anything. It can be a Redshift, or it can be a Hadoop data source. So all data source will be lying out there, and all the fields or the columns of the data source will be on this. Okay. So Tableau by default categorize them into dimensions and measures. Okay, so this is very fundamental thing in our reporting and analytics, right? So what are dimension and measures? Just to a rephrase, you might be knowing this, but for larger audience, I will just give a quick 1 minute rephrase. So dimensions are, so in a reporting world, we want to measure something, right? There are some key performance indicators which we have, which gives insight upon how my business is doing, right? So it can be as simple as how my sales are doing, what's my profit or net quantity, or the ratios, or in an insurance company, it can be dollar earned or number of policies, new policies, or for a retailer like Amazon, it can be number of new customers, right? For a flight company, it can be anything, right? So these are all basically the quantitative measures based on which I measure, or based on which I see, or based on which I get insight on how my business are doing. So there are various terms. They are called KPIs, or they can be called measures, right? So mostly they are numeric quantities which you measure, or which you analyze to see how your business is doing. Okay, but numeric quantity on itself doesn't make sense, right? So let's say I took a sales and I'm just double click on it. Okay, So what is showing me is that the total sales of company is around $2 million, right? But does it make sense? Okay, I know what is my total sales, but uh, what I want to do is I want to analyze this in some context. Okay, so I want to see my total sales by customer segment. Okay, so now this is making more sense. Oh, the consumers got me this much profit sales, the corporate this much, home office this much. Okay, or I want to see this by state. Okay, so you could see that California I'm getting a large sale, but this I'm lower. This is just very less. Okay, something like that. So the dimensions are the context based on which you slice and dice your data, or you analyze your measures to get more insight in your data. Okay, so you could use multiple dimensions. So you could see sales by date, you can see sales by basically date and time, you can see by region, like location attribute, by products, by customers, by segments, and whatnot. Okay, so all those are called dimensions. So by default, once your data come in, your Tableau is going to convert them into dimensions and measures. Okay, so if you don't like what Tableau did, because it doesn't know your data, right? It's just plain technical data for him. So what he does is plainly is all the number or quantity field he puts into measures, on all textual attributes he put into dimensions. That's what the algorithm is mostly. Okay, if something is not correct, it's very easy to change. Okay, you can just drag discount back into dimension. So discount becomes a dimension now. That's it. Okay, if you want something to become measure, you drag it from here and put into measure box, or you could right click and do basically convert to dimension, convert it to measure, something you can do in multiple ways. So it's as simple as that. Okay, and now what I did, I don't want to it to get committed, right? So basically I don't want discount as a dimension. So one is you can drag it back, or you can do undo. Okay, so one of the most uh, lovable feature of Tableau is it has unlimited undo. Okay, basically Control Z, which we do. It's a very rare feature. It looks very what I will say, it looks very obvious that it should be there in a product, but not most of the products support it. Not like unlimited undos. Okay, that's one of the most or lovable thing in Tableau is that it has unlimited undo. Okay, so you can use this button Control, or you can use Control Z. Okay, both of the things work. So I do an undo. So again, discount will come back here. Okay, you can see here. So if I go undo, you can see I am going back to now sales one. If I do undo, I am again clean, right? You can again do a redo. You can play back basically what you did, something like that. So that's it. So you connect to any data source. This is what the view you are going to get. Okay, so all the complexity behind your data source is hidden by Tableau for you. So business user don't need to understand what's behind this super sample store, how I got this, whether it's hosted on Teradata, or it's a Hadoop, or is it a Amazon Redshift, or it's just a DB database. He doesn't need to know. That's the whole purpose of Tableau. Okay, so as an IT person, you could create this data source for business users, and then they can start playing with it. Okay, or you could create a report on top of this. So one of the this is basically very common in reporting side. So reporting side creates that virtual layer in between, so that they hide the technical complexity of what's SQL to be written in the backend, right? And on what reporting is done. So when I just drag sales, he's automatically aggregated the sales for me, right? So it just gives me a sum of sales automatically. I didn't ask him to do a select sum of sales from table, right? It's handled by the reporting tool in the backend. It sent the appropriate query and all. So that's part of the product. So that's why we are paying them in the simple sense. So that's it. So this is basically dimensions and measures and how they are. So don't worry about how does data come in, right? Because after they come in, it will look exactly like this. It will either have a dimension or measure, whatever data source you have in the background. It doesn't matter. Okay. I'll just pause a minute if somebody has any doubt till now. Okay, perfect. Now you could see there are a lot of kind of small symbols across every field, right? So they are basically indicate what kind of field it is. So like if it's ABC, it means a text, right? So this is a date field, that's why it has a date. So Tableau treats them differently. As we'll go ahead, you will notice that this globe symbol means they are locational attributes, right? Basically, it points to some particular location like region. So we'll see how they are different. This means it's in a hierarchy, right? So hierarchies are very common in your data. So all the products will have some categories, which will have some categories, which will have some manufacturer, and then there will be a text. Okay. This is basically a bin. We'll see what bins are. And this is again a text. Okay, and all the hash ones are basically measures. So they are kind of measure attributes. Nothing. So we'll start today with a very simple report, like which I showed you, and we'll see how to create this. Okay, so I'm going to do move back. Yeah. So our aim is to create this report. So what I want to do is I want to see regions by sales. So we'll first start with I want to see how my sales are doing by region, and then I want to basically drill down with the departments. Okay. So it's very simple. I see region per sales, and in every region I want to see how each department is doing. Right. So here basically we are trying to analyze your data based on two dimensions, which is region and department, right? So the dimension is sales, and we want to analyze it with two dimensions, which is regions and department. Okay, and then we have a fourth thing. We want to also see only for country USA. We want to see for all other countries. Okay, so let's take it one by one. First, so I'm just going to go and create a new worksheet. So my first aim is I want to see region per sale. So I want to see sales in context of region. Okay. So how do I do that? So you click on sales, sales your measure, go back and see where is your region. This is the region, right? So you click on both of them. You can click control and you could select both of them like I did, and you can just say double click. Okay. And you just do double click on sales. So by default, what he gave me we call it cross tab. Okay, cross tabs are basically nothing but a simple table, right? There are a lot of other complex name like pivot table or simple table and all that, whatever you call it. Okay, so when you just double click item, he gave me a default cross tab. Okay, region for sale. So it's it's okay, right? It doesn't matter if I want, but we were looking for creating as a bar graph, right? So you could show me button here. Okay, so one of the good thing is you could easily switch between visualization without going out of this window. Okay, it's a very nice feature. You might not appreciate this, but I have worked with a boring reporting tool, so it's very difficult to go back and change from crosstab to pivot or pivot to pie chart, something like that. Okay, so it's very simple. I can click on this here, horizontal bars, right? So you can see it's automatically converted to bar graph. Okay, if I can convert it to a pie, it just got into pie, something like that. So we want a bar, so I just convert into a bar, right? Now this is basically I got a horizontal bar, right? I want to convert into vertical. Okay, so why it's horizontal? Because the way the columns and rows are arranged. Okay, so when we double click, it just put them on default, right? But nobody is stopping us to drag and drag in whatever region we want. Okay, so if I just again you can click on this red button to clear all the sheet. I just want to start again, right? So I just want to clear all the sheet and I will again do it. So let's say I drag sales on rows. Okay, so you can see what happens. So you could play with this, but it's very simple. When you drag on rows or you double click, when you double click, Tableau give you a default one, right? Basically what he thinks is the best one for that kind of data set. But you could always change that. Okay, there's no harm in doing that. So I can drag sales in columns. Let's do that. So it goes in a column. Okay. If you do on a row, it goes in a row, nothing else. So I go and I drag region in columns. So I got it like this. But if I want to reverse it, I go region here, I go sales here, I take it like this. Okay. So sum of sales in rows means they are in rows, like horizontally, right? And regions is columns, basically vertically. Okay. You would easily swap with this button as well. Swap Control W. Okay. So you can see I swapped, so rows to column and again columns to row. Okay. So we got a very basic uh, visualization which shows me region by sales, right? So that's what happens. So this is when you put columns or dimension into rows and columns here, right? Now, so next thing is one thing is, okay, it's kind of when I go and hover here, I see what is the sales, but I want to basically have it here in a text, right? Every bar should show me what's the sale. Okay. So the easiest way of doing this is you can see an ABC button here. So you can say show mark labels. So it's going to show you the labels marked out there. Okay. The other way of doing it is putting them into marks. Okay. So just hold on with me here. Okay. You might be feeling sometimes we go too fast, but this is what we are going to do over and over. Okay. So you miss something, you might get it in the next go. So just stay with me. Okay. So rows and columns are simple. You just drag and drop there and you get what you want. The marks are basically give you additional things. Okay, so you could go based on a color, size, label, detail, or tooltip. So we'll cover them as we go. But the other one is you can just say sales and drag it to text. So what ABC means is you want to have text, right? So it just shows you text. So both are same. You could do this, show mark labels, or you could just drag sales on the this text label also. Okay, so what I'm suggesting is show me text for the sales. Okay, but it's not necessary. I can just drag sales here. So I'm just going to click this and drag it outside. Okay, so once you see this red button, it means that it will be deleted from your graph. Okay, so I'm just going to release this. Now it's gone, right? So I could just drag profit on the text. Okay, so now you can see it's showing me both the things actually. So these are basically my profit, and the length of graph showed me the sale, something like that. Okay, so you could drag secondary dimensions onto these marks to get different results. Okay, so I'm going to undo this. Okay, so we completed our first set of first part of the visualization, which is I want to see sales by region, right? Now I want to go one level deep. I want to segment it again with customer segment. No, what was that? Sorry, basically by department. Sorry. Okay. So now there are a lot of options how I want to go second level down. Okay, so let's try to play around and see what happens. So if I just double click on department, okay, so Tableau, what it gave me is this. Okay, so he put department again into column shelf, right? So for every region, like central, he's showing me how furniture and these three departments are doing. In east, how they are doing. Okay, so you can see that's how visualizations are very important. Okay, this clearly shows me that I'm doing internationally very well. Okay, in compared to central, east, or southwest region. Okay, so my sales are very high in international as compared to this. Okay, now this is what Tableau gave me by default. Okay, but I want to change this feeling. Okay, I want to change this to a stacked graph. So you could just click on this stacked mark. So it converted into stack, right? So what happens is now every region shows me how much is total profit. Okay, and the colors, like the furniture, how much is the furniture out of that? Okay, and how much is the technology out of that? So that's how the stack graph shows you. So the normal bar graphs are like simple graphs. They just represent one dimension and measure, right? And the stack graph shows you a simpler dimension and measure, and then it allows you to take one more dimension. So we are analyzing two dimensions, region and department, based on sales. Okay, and that's how it is. So I can click on ABC and I can get the actual figures also if you want. Okay. So that was the second piece, right? So you could see you can easily convert this. So these are the three graphs which you are discussing today. One is a normal bar graph. So if I convert this bar graph, it's showing me for department inside that a region how my sales are doing, right? If I just convert it to a stack graph, it shows me, so it has just one bar plus uh, region, and inside that it has segregated by department, right? So in an international region, my furniture is doing this much, my office supplies is doing this much, my technology is doing this much. Okay, and if you do basically this one, this is basically bar side by side bars, then it shows you this way. So it puts furniture, office supplies, and technology on the top shelf, and inside this, how much you got. So this is the level of flexibility you get with Tableau, and it's very easy to switch between them. Okay, so they don't need to call you. So these are some of the things which are missing in the BI world. Okay, so if you want to just look into different perspective, they don't need to call an IT person to do that. It's very easy, right? And that's what where the other reporting tools were lagging, the traditional ones. It was very difficult to switch between different visualizations out there with so ease, right? Just in a single click of button without going out of this window. So that's kind of very promising feature out there. Okay, so which one to choose? So in this case, all of them make sense. Okay, it's just the business users convenience, or what you feel is more kind of appealing to you or more understand. It's your convenience. That's it. Okay, but there are a lot of other situations as we will go. We'll see that one of the visualization is better in this case as compared to others. Okay, so we'll see that. Okay, but that's how it looks like. And the last piece here is I'm showing everything, right? But the other requirement we want was we want users to have flexibility to select the country basically, or the region or country which in the sales you want to see. Okay, so now this is showing sales for across globe, right? But that's what they don't want. So I want to basically put a filter on this report saying that just show me for a particular country and region. Okay, so you can see there is a filter page here, so you could just drag country to a filter region. Okay, it shows you all the filters. So we'll go and see all the advanced filter options, but currently this is all that simple. So you could select all the country you want. It's a long list. You can just select for USA. I think it's United. Complete name. Yeah, I got it. United States of America. And you can say okay. Okay. So you can see now I just got my sales only for United States of America. You don't need to change anything else. Okay. So I could just convert this back to stack graph. Okay, and I keep it like this. Now if you want user to change it very easily, the other option is you can just click on this and say show quick filter. Okay, so it comes like a filter here where people can just play with it, so they can add one more like Vietnam. So now it shows two region for both of them. Okay, okay, or I can just add India, or I can just go ahead and get away from India. So international, this is what Profit is doing. Okay, so it was a very simple visualization, but the idea was to give you an overview of how to navigate with Tableau and kind of get started. Okay, so any issues or any concerns on this? Any doubts? I just want to get a thought, like it was too simple or the space is okay. How you want to proceed? I want some comments. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. So now let's discuss few more concepts today before we stop. Okay. So let's clean this sheet. Okay. So one more thing you have to understand is mostly there's something like greens and blue. Okay. So they are basically called pills, green pills and blue pills. Okay. So Tableau usually consider dimensions as blues, okay, because they are discrete. So what discrete means is that they have like discrete values, right? Their number of distinct values are kind of less, okay, and measures are continuous, right? So continuous means the gaps are they're like continuous data, right? That's why they are green in nature, okay. So you could change that. So you could change into something like discrete and continuous, and that will affect your measure graph in some way. Okay, so we're going to discuss this later on, like how it's important, because like advanced use case. So most of the times Tableau does automatically for you. You don't need to play around with it. Okay, but that's the meaning of it. So there is some meaning out there. Why this is blue in nature and why this is green. Okay. Is basically the blue ones are discrete. Okay, so you can see if you go and see here, they will be like dimensions. Okay, and if you see the green ones, you get two options, whether discrete or continuous. Okay, so if I convert this to discrete, it will also become blue. Okay. And I can go back and make it continuous. Okay, so discretes are basically they have number of distinct discrete values, so they are kind of dimensional thing. Okay, but you can always convert a measure to also discrete. There are some use cases for that. We'll see as we'll move in session, but that's what those green and blue means. Okay, now the other interesting thing is what are these hierarchy symbols. Okay, so hierarchy is something which you cannot avoid in a BI world. Okay, this is very close to how you analyze your data. Okay. So the best hierarchy out there is dates, right? So let's see that. So if I go and just double click on order date, okay, so I get by default Tableau automatically gives you first year. Okay, years of the date. It's aggregate to that level. Okay, I just want to see sales by year. Okay, so it's that simple. I just double click on sales and year. So in 2010 I got these are the sales which is out there, right? Is that simple. So this is not the right graph for it, of course. It should be something like a line, right? It shows me how my sales are doing, right, over the year. So 2010 it is this, and it's very evident that my sales are increasing. So it's a good positive trend. Okay, that's good. But I want to drill down to the deepest level, right? So drilling down is basically going from higher level to level down, and that's what hierarchy makes them possible. Okay, so and that's what the reporting tools are for there. So you can see in hierarchical columns you will see a plus symbol. Okay, what it means that this plus is basically you can go level down one. So if I click on plus, I go a level down and I can see for year and quarter. Okay, if I again want to go down, I click on plus, I go to month level. So you can see how my sales are trending by month. And if you want to go to the deepest level of date, you can just do that. So this is my profit by sales a week, and then you can go by day. Okay, this is by day, something like that. So that's what hierarchy enables you to. Okay, you could drill down to whatever level you want. Okay, so if you want to go level up, you can just say go up, 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 something like that. So I'm going back to my year. Okay, so date is the most what I will say intuitive hierarchy out there in your BI world. Everyone analyze your data based on date, right? Date dimensions. So one good thing is Tableau has just avoided that complexity at all. Okay, if you come from a traditional dimension model world, you will see this is strange, right? Because that's the whole purpose of building a date dimension and joining with your fact. Okay. So, but in your Tableau world, Tableau has hidden that from you. So Tableau automatically converts your date into an hierarchy, which you can use it very easily. Okay, but you have some like complex requirement where you want to find holidays or fiscal calendars and all that, then you could always use date dimension very easily. Okay, but for most of 99% of the cases, this date hierarchy is sufficient for you. Okay, but the hierarchies are not just with dates, right? It can be anything. So the other important hierarchy out there is the region, right? So you have a country have many states have many cities, and cities have many postal codes, which is basically various region in the city, right? So it's a very again different hierarchy, but it's out there. Other hierarchies in like retail world is product, so they are like a seasonality hierarchy. They have a product fall under department. They have categories, and categories have items, right? So all those hierarchies are very easy to create in Tableau. Okay, so you don't need to do anything in your data. Once your data is in, it's as simple as that. Let's say I want to add region to a supply hierarchy. Okay, this is not right, but I'm just going to show an example. Okay, so you can just take supplier and drag it to a region. Okay, so you can say I'm saying new demo hierarchy. I'm just saying new demo. Okay, so you can see I just got it my new demo hierarchy where it is. Yeah, this created. It has region and supplier inside there. Okay, it's that simple. So these things were very difficult to do in other reporting tools. Okay, some make them easy, but some then make them very difficult. So like I work with OBI, creating a hierarchy is nightmare there. Okay, and you cannot change it on the fly. So the idea is these are very basic things in reporting world, and which is like day-to-day things. So they should be made simple, and you concentrate on analyzing your data, not struggling with how to create hierarchies and all that. Okay, so I can just undo this. Okay, so creating hierarchy is very simple, but how they work, I'm just showing you one more example. So I'm seeing, let's say I just drag the top level one, country region. Okay, so I'm seeing sales by region, right? So it's a very simple graph. It shows me sales by region. Okay, and again I can drill down. Okay, so you can see it has for every sale it has drilled down to this. I can swap these measures to see them like this. They make more sense like this, right? In Brazil, every state, what's the sales, right? If you want to go further level down, you can just click on state. So you go now for every state in each city. Like for this, in a China state, there are 4 cities. These are the sales. Okay, something like that. You don't want state, you just take state out. It's that simple. Okay, so you just see state by city. Okay, and if in every postal code you want to see, you can go level down, something like that. If you don't want a level, you can just take out. You don't want city, you just take out. For every country and postal code, you'll see sales, something like that. Okay, so hierarchy makes that possible. You could drill and drill down or drill up in your data very easily. Okay, so creating hierarchy is a very simple drag and drop thing, but okay, but using them is very important in a reporting world. Okay, so the other thing is all these globe symbols. Okay, so they basically represent region, and they can be plotted against a map. Okay, that's why they have this symbol. So I go a show me, and I just click on any of one of this map. Okay, so you can see I can easily plot it against a map. Is that simple? Okay, so it automatically get a longitude and latitude. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, so it's showing me on United States and across this how my profits are doing. Okay, like that. So creating maps and everything, this is very simple. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to concentrate on how to set up maps in Tableau. This is already done. Okay, so all the region attributes which has glow symbol, they can be used to plots against your map visualization. Okay, so this symbol means hierarchy, right, which we saw. We can drill and drill down the data. The globe symbol, this means that these are like location attributes. Okay, then this is a date. Date has a, we see it has a hierarchy in itself. Text is very simple. Okay, it just show you all the text out there. Okay, and the hash ones are the profit one. Simple as that. Okay. So we crossed our time, so I will just stop for today, and we'll. This was a basically a quick workaround, or sorry, a quick overview of how Tableau and how to play around with it. Okay. So from tomorrow we'll start our course content, and we'll cover topics one by one. So we have a lot to cover. A lot of features in Tableau which you could exploit and create a very sound visualization. So you don't need to worry about unnecessary complicated things. They are already handled. We can only focus on what's really required to do a proper data analytics out of your data. That's what Tableau is all about. Yeah, so that's what I said in the beginning. So you don't need to practice on other data sets. Okay. So Excel or the predefined data source are sufficient for learning Tableau desktop completely. Okay. I will show you some data sources. Once you connect to a data source, you have all data what you want, like this. Okay, it's same. So after your data source is created, after that it's all same. It's no differences out there. It will not show dimension or measure in some different way. It will be like this only. Okay. So connecting those data is just 1% of your Tableau learning. Okay, I once a percent is a very heavy term. Okay, because you already come from that background. So connecting to a data is not an issue. That is basically same across whatever data source you use. Once your data is in, and what to do with your data is what you need to learn with Tableau. That's more important. But that's what Tableau is all about. Okay, Tableau. The whole purpose of Tableau is it has segregated that differentiation from what actual data is and how you report on it. Okay. So I don't care, right? The whole report I built, I didn't need to know what is there in the background. It's a black box for me. Okay. So you just do a view data, you'll see data in a flat way. Okay. This doesn't make any sense. We don't need to worry about this data is there in Excel or it's an Access or it's a Redshift or it's a Teradata, Netezza, whatnot, or an Hadoop. Okay, once data is in, it will be in this format, so you could report on. So don't focus on how to connect your data. That's very simple. We'll have a session for that. But once your data is in, what you do with your data is what you need to learn on. That's more important. So Tableau Public is sufficient. Okay. So you could play with your data source if you want. Okay. Initially with your trial version, but after that public, if you really want to play with just with your data, then you go and take your Tableau desktop license for 14 days. Okay. And what you could do is you could create an extract of your data. Okay, so you don't need to always connect live to your data. I will show that, but like this point is bring upon, I just want to clarify. So you don't necessarily, so let's say you have an Oracle database out there, so you don't need to always be connected to Oracle database. So you could just dump the data into a Tableau format on your local machine. Okay. After that, you don't need that Oracle. You don't need internet on your machine, or you don't need the connectivity to that database. So after that, you could just play with that data on your own. That kind of features are out there in Tableau. We'll see how you can use that. So don't worry about connecting to data sources. They are just less than 1% of what Tableau learning is all about. Focus on once data come in, how they look like. Okay. So if that's troubling you more, we could start an initial session with that. Okay, I can show you some of the data sources, how to connect them. But you'll see that once you connect it, it's same. It's all same. Okay. So it's very important once data is there, how you play with it, than focusing on how to connect to your data. I hope I answered that question. That's why public is more than sufficient for all Tableau learning. And there are really okay. So the analytics is basically a new thing which is added in Tableau 9. Okay, we have seen Tableau 9. So this was not there. So these features were out there earlier as well, but in kind of hidden way, which they put it here. So let's say I can just say right click and say show trend lines. Okay. So I cannot show a trend line here. For trend lines, I need a line graph. So let's say sales by order date. Okay, so I will just convert this to just to give it a better feeling. Let's do it by this. Okay. So this shows me sales by month, right? So I can just right click and say show me trend line. So it shows me the trend, right? We are using 9, version 9. Okay. This is the latest version out there for Tableau. So I can just say it shows me automatically what's the trend in my volume. Okay. And so these things were kind of hidden options. What Tableau did is here now they add an analytics tab. Okay. So I can just take an average line or all those things automatically here, average, constant line with a click. Okay. Something like that. So we'll see these options, but they are kind of trend lines. So these are basically now drag and drop feature. You don't need to go ahead and see hidden things. So all the trending, forecasting, all those things, the analytics is now kind of visual here in the analytics tab. So this is a very new feature. It just added in Tableau 9. It's not that old. So we are going to use the latest version of this Tableau 9. Okay. Yeah, it's a very great feature. So one thing you need to understand is Tableau's mission statement looks very simple, but they are very committed people. Okay. So it's very rare in IT world to see products which really impresses you. Okay, and this Tableau is one of them. So it's something which has really revolutionized the BI market. So if you see all the Gartner reports, which I showed you in demo reports in my demo sessions, so Tableau is a perfect, or it's no doubt the leader in analytics space. Okay, the way it has transformed the market and the BI world, it's revolutionized basically. It's beyond that. So if you have really worked with any of the traditional reporting tool, you would appreciate that fact. Okay, but the things look very obvious, but they are not there in the BI world, which has Tableau made possible. One thing you need to understand is Tableau is not a traditional reporting tool. Okay, so if you want to have a reporting tool which creates PDFs and email it to you or keep in some directory on a daily basis, all those kind of old time tasks are basically not recommended, or they are not like the strong point of Tableau. This is what not Tableau is built for. If you go ahead and ask them, okay, I'm trying to create a PDF out of my report, it's not coming correctly, they will not entertain you, because this is not tool for that. This is tool for interactive analytics reporting product. Okay, it is not like a traditional reporting tool where you queue a data bursting, or you want to have pixel perfect reports, or you want to have lot many cross tabs Excel type of reports. Okay, this is not tool for that. They don't believe in those kind of things, and this is not the future of BI. Okay, that's what not BI should be. But you will see that when you are in a company and you are reporting to someone, you will tend up to creating such kind of reports. Okay, so we'll see how to tackle those scenarios also. But that's not a Tableau strength. Okay, but you cannot avoid that. If your boss asks you to create that kind of report, you have to give it to him, right? So all those kind of details we are going to see. So don't get yourself focused on how you connect to my data. That's very simple. I will show you. The more important point is once your data in is how you play with it, how you make most of out of your data. Okay, which is there. And that's what Tableau is all about. It will help you understand your data in all possible way without worrying about the unnecessary complicated things out there in the market. Okay. Yes, definitely. Once you see a Tableau interface, you will not like anything else. Okay, that's what happened with our organization. So I introduced Tableau around 3 years back with now in my company. So once I show Tableau, once you start showing people Tableau business user, they don't want to go back to the reporting tool. They don't want people creating report in the old world. Okay, they want every report in Tableau. That's how their interface is. It's very intuitive and it's very easy to use, and it really makes sense for all the business use cases. It's very easy to use. Okay, but there are a lot of hidden things. I showed some of them to you, right? And these sessions will be all about that. It will help you make kind of very hands-on with Tableau, not just Tableau, but Tableau desktop, Tableau server, and all the things which is required for supporting a Tableau environment in your company. Okay. Okay. As per of job market is concerned, see Tableau. When you go into a company and use Tableau, it's very rare that they'll be just using Tableau. Okay, so they will be coming from some old reporting background. So if you're looking for a job, I think it's very important that you have some idea of how the other BI world looks like. Okay, so you should be knowing like what are the dimension or star schema or what are data warehousing concepts. So those things are very important. And if you have some ETL BI background, it's going to definitely help you because they will be there. Some people want to transition from the old tool to new tool. Okay, so those things will be there. So that will be easier for them if you know that old tool. But it's not necessary. You have a fresh Tableau opening also where they're just going to see your Tableau knowledge. Okay. So it's like if you have, it's good. Okay, capitalize on that. If you don't have, don't worry. So like I talked with someone, he has data sciences background. Okay, so in that case, you don't need to know what the old BI look world like. In most of the cases, we can just go ahead with Tableau knowledge. Okay. So if you have some BI reporting knowledge, it's good. If you don't have, that's also perfectly fine. It doesn't matter, I think. But keep a track of your data warehousing concepts. You might get it asked sometimes. But we'll see that that's kind of hidden. I have not discussed about star schema or anything in Tableau till now, right? So we'll see how that comes into picture in context of Tableau as our session. So if you have any comments or like you want, you could drop me an email also. Right? If you want a session some other way, please. I want this to be interactive. I don't want me talking always. Okay. I'm perfectly fine. You guys interrupting me and adding your valuable comments in between. Okay, that's perfectly fine with me. You can always tweak sessions. We don't need to go by book. So we'll start curriculum as I usually do, but as the session goes, if you want some separate sessions on a particular topic, if you want me dimension modeling, I can give a one session. That's perfectly fine with me. Okay. So if you want something, just please ask. There's no problem. Okay. We could always add new things or increase or decrease pace of the session accordingly. So please feel free to ask. So I think that's it. If you guys have no questions, further questions, we could conclude today's session and we can continue. Materials, yeah. So I usually share material on Dropbox or Google Drive, wherever people feel comfortable. So as set of practice workbooks, all the workbooks we create here. Okay. So basically, the idea is whatever we do in the session, you go back and practice on your own, okay, on your machines, right? So we have some PDFs, some videos. So it's not like all is what I have created. Okay. So materials will be something which is best out there in market. Okay, so in a particular topic, what's out best, I share that. So I don't believe in just putting my stamp on that. So what's out there best, because I know this product for a long time, so I know how to search in Google and figure out, right? So some are like my own created, and some will be from other sources. Okay, so they are like kind of folders based on topics. So I share them on Google Drive, and you could just use that. Okay. So today I don't have much to share. Probably this is, I just showed you how to play around with Tableau, so you could just go and start doing on your own. Okay. From tomorrow's session, I am going to share that link and show you how you can make most of that material. Second thing is, we are not going to just see the custom data sources. We are going to work with lot varied kind of data. Okay, I will show you actual dimension model. I will show you OLTP application, how to interact with that, and what difference it makes. Okay, so one other thing you need to understand is, so I'm saying that once your data is in, you could just play with it, but there are some things, right, which an advanced user should know. So like what you will end up in a situation where you want to know what query is sent by Tableau, right, to the backend, why it's not performing. Okay, because in the small data source is always fast. It works like charm. You don't need to worry, right, because this is what Tableau built, so it will work correctly, right? once you start going to live data and you see like performance issues, so how to tackle that. So all those are also part of our training sessions. How you see which query is sent and how to work with it. Okay. So we'll try to cover with like traditional databases plus some of the big data sources. Okay, we'll try Hadoop or Redshift, something like that. I will try to give you some background on that as well. Okay, I promise in the beginning. Anything else? Okay, I think that's it. Thank you, lot. Thanks a lot for joining this session. I hope to see you tomorrow, and we'll get into full blown exciting world of Tableau. I just wish you a happy journey there.